Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Super excited because today I am finally going to announce the launch of the Japa series. Officially launching this new series on the channel where I am going to be bringing to you guys different people, different guests who have relocated from China to other parts of the world. Now I know the internet, especially YouTube, is filled with people who have relocated, from their various countries to other places. But for this series, we are going to be focusing mainly on people who have relocated from China to other parts of the world. I know that this is a topic that a lot of you are interested in. I'll advise you to subscribe to this channel right now as I'm talking and turn on the notification bell. I have people who have moved to the US, to the UK, to Canada, to Europe, to Australia. Trust me, you don't want to miss all the conversations and all the important information that we are going to be dropping throughout this series. I'm excited to announce our very first guest, who is a delectable, handsome, very promising young man, the person of Mr. Peterson. We had such a wonderful and fruitful conversation together, and I'm sure that you guys are going to learn a thing or two. All you have to do is thumbs up this video, make sure you are subscribed, and keep on watching. Our very first guest, I'm so excited and so grateful to have him here. I'll let him introduce himself in a moment and we can carry on with the questions. So, sir, can we meet you, please?
All right, thank you very much, Madam Gloria. My name is Peter Oluwaseun Anifowose. I'm originally a Nigerian from the state of Osun. That's the Living Spring in Nigeria. I was in China. I was in China before coming to the US, the United States, and I'm currently studying at Western Illinois University. So I'm a graduate student at Western Illinois. And as you can see, I'm also putting on one of our...
I love it. Thank you very much, Mr. Peterson. So you guys, you have heard who Mr. Peterson is. From my side, he's a very good friend of mine and my husband. We used to row, together here in China, but now he's no longer here, and gosh, we miss him so much. But I'm happy to actually have this conversation with him today. So, Mr. Peterson, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate you on this channel. Thank you so much. So now I'm just going to start with some of the questions that I have written out for you. So the first question is, how long were you in China? Like, how long did you stay in China before you moved to the US?
Oh, okay, so I lived in China for a period of 5 years because I arrived in China. That was September. I can't remember the specific date now, but it's September 2017, and I left China December 2022. So that's 5 months. 5 years and about 2 or 3 months.
Cool. What did you study in China? Was it bachelor's or master's program?
Okay, so I had my master's program in China, completed that, then I started my PhD program.
Okay, that means you studied in China for that 5 years that you were here.
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to know, what was your study experience like in China?
Okay, now, like this particular question will make me say a lot of things about my student experience in China, because before going to China, I had some biases about China, from families, friends. These are some people that had not gone to China before, but based on the concept or based on what people had said before, like push them to have these biases towards China. So, going to China with this kind of mindsets, like I kind of expected, my expectation for what I'm going to meet was like below average. But when I got there, I was amazed, like starting from when I arrived in China there, because I arrived in Guangzhou. That was in 2017. Then I had to take a connecting flight to Nanjing. So from there, I started seeing like, but this is not what this. I mean, what I'm seeing now is different from what people said. And even when I got to the school, like when I got to the school, I mean, I was really amazed. Like I was really amazed. My first 3 years in the school were very wonderful. I met a lot of people. My supervisor then was, in short, my supervisor then, I would say he was like my father in China because we had such a very good relationship.
Nice.
I'm telling you, that's such like even till few weeks ago, I think maybe about a month or two ago, I still have to reach out to him because I needed him to sign like a particular letter for me. So I reached out to him and he responded, and like we were able to wrap up that thing that I was working on. So like that was the first phase of my experience in China. So but the last 2 years, like that was from 2020 till 2022 that I left, it was not really that because now it was like I was now experiencing the negative side of what I experienced before. So I had a supervisor during my PhD, and I would say the two of us did not get along, and so now on a general note, talking about studying in China, for me, one thing I'm going to say is if you want to go study in China, you have to be self-motivated. If you really want to study in China, you have to be self-motivated. You have to put in the extra effort of learning yourself if you really want to get the knowledge, because some of the lecturers or some of the teachers that we had, especially for what I experienced in my school, that's Nanjing University of Science and Tech. Yeah, these people that they'll do their best to pass on the knowledge to you, but they don't put in the extra effort of pushing you to make sure you have the or to get what you are looking the required knowledge. So you have to be self-motivated to get what you really want to get from the Chinese universities. So it was good for me generally.
I'm glad. I'm actually glad to hear that because, of course, people have varying opinions, varying experiences about studying in China. But I'm happy that you had a good one during your masters. Yeah, maybe we'll talk further about the PhD later on. But let me just leave it now. Yeah. Okay. So the next question I'm going to ask. Yeah, you said you had a good study experience during your masters, and you were even doing a PhD before you left for Illinois. Now, my question is, why did you decide to leave? Why did you decide to leave China? If China was so good, so sweet, so everything, why make that big move?
Okay, so I have a couple of reasons why I decided to leave China, and but before I say some of these reasons, I I would like to say this that I'm a big fan of China. That's the truth. Like some of my friends at some point, like okay, in the year 2022, I think in some of the groups I belonged to, I had issues, I had face up with some individuals because of I always say that you guys, by the time you leave China, you are definitely going to miss China. So like I do say that a lot in some of these groups, and some people will be like, why are you always like this? If you know you like China this much, then just stay back here and don't leave China. So like I do say that a lot on some of the groups. So now back to the question, why I decided to leave China. So for me, even though I love China and I kind of find the life in China so easy and comforting to live. So, but due to some major other reasons, like some are personal, some are not just for me alone, but for the generations that should come through me. Yeah, so I had to just leave China. So one of the very first reason why I left was for the sake of the future. it's not just about me enjoying life in China. I mean, I was very comfortable in China. I was enjoying life. I was, to some extent, I would say I was making money in China, right? Some of my friends can testify to this, but I believe there is more to life than just yourself alone. So this was the very first thing that I considered, and I had to make the move. I mean, after spending 5 years in a particular country, if it were to be other countries, 5 years is enough to qualify me for a PR. But
Yeah.
China is
That's not the
different.
case. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the first point. Now, the second point was because I was like 2 years into my PhD program, and 2 years into the PhD program, I did not have any direction yet because I had some issues with my supervisor. I'm not going. I don't like saying bad stuff about people, right? But I just want to believe the two of us just did not get along, right? So, and and at some point, I just feel like, okay, instead of me wasting my time here, why don't I just make a move and leave and go to another place where I can start all over again, correct some of the mistakes I made, and see how I can. I mean, some of those mistakes corrected can be of benefit to my life. So this was the second reason why I decided to leave China. So the other reasons could be, okay, the third reason now could be because of the course I'm studying right now. So for my bachelor's, I studied civil engineering. My first master's, I studied civil engineering. Now the world is going into technology, like tech is yeah, definitely tech is the game now. So because of I kind of feel like, okay, now that the world has shifted grounds into this area of tech, why don't I get some skills too in this particular aspect? So this was another thing that motivated me to want to leave China. China too was very good. China is among the leading countries in terms of tech too. But I needed an environment where it would be easier for me to study. Where I can study in the same language that I'm speaking right now. So my Chinese is not that good. So I just feel like, okay, and US is among the top leading countries in terms of tech. So I applied to some of the schools in the US for computer science and got the admission, and I am today
Nice. I love it.
I'm in Illinois studying computer science. It's a wonderful. So these are just some of the reasons why I decided to leave China.
Okay, so I feel like you've answered a little about my next question, but maybe you can just buttress more on it. And I just want to ask you, why the US? Why did you choose Illinois? I mean, people who want to relocate, they have a lot of broad options. There is Europe, there is Canada, there is the UK. Why did you choose the US? Also considering the fact that there's so much bad press about the US recently, with regards to insecurity and some of those things. So why did you still decide that should be this US and we go there?
Okay, so why US? Well, I'll say some things about the US now. And to start with, my most preferred destination was Canada.
Okay.
Like, if you wake me up from sleep, be like, which country are you thinking of going for, that you want to go to? The very first country I'll talk about is Canada. Like, I really don't, like, it's just me. So now, after Canada comes the US. But I applied for, I lost count of the number of schools I applied to in Canada for fully funded programs, but they weren't forthcoming. So then I later just decided to apply for US, and I am today in US. So that's just by the way. So now, why US? Basically, US is one of the top leading countries in the world. I mean, like, apart from the security issues, US is one of the top leading countries in the world.
I mean, this is still world power.
Yeah, they are still the world power. I mean, this is fact. Forget everything you are seeing on the internet, what people are saying about the US. I had a conversation with one of my friends this evening. We were just talking about life, and he made mention of a particular statement, and I held that statement. He said, think of anything in the world, in this present world. He said, think of anything. US is the best in that thing, and US is also the worst in that thing. Like, I mean, that statement is kind of funny, but if you analyze the statement, if you look at it closely, you discover that it's true. Now, let's start with this security that you mentioned. Actually, if you look at security-wise, I'll tell you that although I might not have enough data to back this up, or might not have enough information at my disposal, but I mean, we can all agree that in terms of security, US is one of the leading countries. But if you look at the other side of it,
I feel it's a very contradictory thing to say.
So like that's like, so when the guy said, think of anything, US is the best in that thing and also the worst, I was like, this guy is saying something. So this is also one of the reasons why I decided to come to the US. The other reason would be because of the field I'm studying currently, like computer science. Like, the number of startup companies here in the US, I doubt if any other country can beat that in terms of technology. I'm not so sure if any other countries will beat that. So if you are a tech guy and you're looking for opportunities,
Texas, because so like, I'm not done.
US should definitely be on your list. Yeah, so but I mean, that's just the some of the reasons, and the other reason could be I'm this kind of person that love exploring. I want to visit so many countries. Although I would say I don't have the required fund for traveling around the world now, but at least I'm doing it gradually. So yeah, I am in the US. Who knows what life will bring again.
Okay, so what you mean is that because of your love for traveling, does it mean like the US visa gives you access to travel to places, or what about the US is going to help your traveling dreams?
Okay, so
are you traveling within the US?
Not just traveling within the US. I mean, visiting so many countries, like going to different countries. So I've been able to visit a couple of countries. But me having the US visa, actually, there's something about the US visa. The US visa, like, if you have the US visa, even without you having the US passport, you are respected. Honestly, this is a fact.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, that's why I said it's a secret. So many people don't know this. The US visa alone qualifies you for visa to so many other countries. And I'm going to say this now. The friend that I talked about, that I mentioned the other time, a few minutes ago, this same friend told me something this evening. It was like, with his US visa, he was able to, like, he applied for Canada visiting visa. And because he has a US visa, do you know what they did for him? Like, they gave him a Canadian visa, and the period that he could use that visa for was till his passport is going to expire. So, like, if you have a passport that has 5 years, they are going to give you visa for 5 good years. Just because
come out as you like.
Yeah, you can go in, you can come out as you like. just because you have a US passport.
Yeah.
This is not the only guy that I've heard saying this thing. One of my pastors here in the US, he, there was some time ago we had a conversation and he told me like he has 8 years Canadian visa. I was like, how do you get 8 years? So he said he's not sure. Like even he himself did not know how he got
How he got it.
Canadian visa. So it was later that I was now thinking about these things. Then I now realized that so I guess it was because he has a US visa. Yeah. So when he applied for the Canadian visiting visa, they gave him for the for the length of his passport. So they will just look at when your passport is going to expire, and that's when the visa is going to expire. So like it's a very good thing. So now any other country, as long as I have the money.
Nice. That's actually a flex. That's a big flex for people who love traveling. So by this time you're selling the US already to some people.
Yeah, I'm selling the US.
Okay, cool. So now I just want to go straight to how you got into you said you're studying at the University of Illinois.
Yeah, Western Illinois University.
Western Illinois University. Great. So I want to ask you, how was the admission process like? Like, how did you get the admission, and even how was like the visa process like? Presenting from China. I've heard some people, like I have a lot of people who have asked questions like, okay, if I want to get visa to maybe another country, do I have to go to Nigeria? Can I go straight from China to America, straight from China to another country? So I want to know what your own experience was like for the admission and the visa process.
Okay, so for the admission process, it was seamless, right? It was very easy. So because currently I'm a self-funded student here in Western, so it was seamless. Getting admission in any of these schools is very easy because as long as you have your money.
Your money, right?
Yeah, it's when you're looking for scholarship that it's become like a tug of war. So admission part, I would say, is very easy. Like just look for
find the school online.
Yeah, just go online, search for schools in the field you are interested in. Like for instance, I was interested in computer science, and I looked for schools that offers computer science. So, like, okay, one of the reasons why I decided to come to Western is WIU, and that's Western Illinois University, was also because of their cheap tuition fee. Like the tuition fee is cheap, and is also one of the best schools that we have around here. So I mean, the school is quite good. So I had some friends here in this particular school that also told me about the school. So now then I applied to the school. So I would say basically the admission part is very easy. Just go online. Depending on the field you are interested in, search for schools in those fields, apply to those schools. So I think for most of the schools, like they have similar processes, like admission process that you have to go through, just with few slight changes or something. So like just check for those schools online and apply. So once you are done applying and you've got your admission, this is where the work now starts. Because, okay, after getting your admission, they will send you your I-20. Then after getting your I-20, then you have to go apply for the US visa. Okay, first off, you need to make an appointment for US in-person visa interview. So, but before you do that,
we have a visa office here in China.
In China, yeah, they have visa office in Shanghai. They have visa office in Guangzhou. One is in Beijing. Then I think the other one is I've forgotten the name of that city now. Yeah, but they have it in like 4 or 5 different locations in China. Okay. Yeah, so you just look for the place you want to go to. to have your um, visa interview. For me, during my own time, like I had to go to Guangzhou because then Shanghai was on lockdown because of COVID. So I had to travel down to Guangzhou.
Yeah.
Then I heard something about like some centers are kind of more strict than some other centers.
Some other places, yeah.
Some, some will scrutinize you very well. Like, but actually, for me, when I even got to Guangzhou, like they they actually scrutinize me. You know, we thank God for everything. That's why, like for me, I'm going to advise if you want to go for US interview, don't just go because you are going for an interview. Make sure you prepare very well.
Very well.
And make sure you, try to foresee the possible questions they could ask you based on your own situation. So now, before we talk about the visa interview part, you need to you go to there are some sites you have to visit. Then on that site you fill in your DS-160. There's another site where you book an appointment for US visa interview. Then I think those are the two major things you need to do. Then you also need to pay for service fee. So now service fee is about $350. You look for somebody in the US to help you make that payment. Then you pay for the in-person interview too. When I did mine last year was I think about 1,000 yuan. But make sure you make the payment in China because I made that mistake. Initially I paid using my GTB account in Nigeria in Naira, but at the end of the day they said they will not consider that, so I had to make another payment in China. So
did the bank refund you the one you made in Naira?
No, they did not. So like I lost that money.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, like I actually lost a lot during while I was
processing for this.
US visa. I lost a lot of money. So because I was doing everything myself, and so now once you are done, you've booked your appointment, you've paid for your service. Yeah, because the receipt from your service fee and the receipt for booking an appointment, they will ask you at the
visa.
The request for it, and you have to present it. So then you now need to gather all your documents and make sure you have all your documents too, because you never can tell the particular documents they invested in. And if you don't have that document right there when they asked you, that is enough for them to disqualify or reject that person. But some of them can be kind or nice enough to just put you on administrative processing, and they'll tell you to provide some more documents for them to screen. So like
I know, sorry, let me cut you short a bit. I know this is not like a full how to process for US visa in China video, but I just want to know what are some of these documents that you said we should have handy just in case they ask. Just if you can mention just a few. Of course, people will do their own research when they want to apply.
Okay, so I'm just going to mention few, but you never can tell what they will ask you. Okay, but number one, the first thing you always have with you is your passport, your international passport. The second thing is your I-20. That's the letter the school is going to send to you. That
I-20.
Your I-20. So it shows when you're going to start your program and when you're going to end your program, the course you are coming to study, the city, and all those information are your I-20. So also, the other time I said you have to fill your DS-160 online. So after filling your DS-160, you can have a printout of that DS-160 and take it along with you. Then your other documents.
DS-160, what's that, please?
Yeah, DS-160 is like I think it's is it Department of State now? Yeah, I think it's Department of State. So it's like you going on the Department of State's website and
Website.
all the information about yourself.
So, okay.
So you're going to fill in information about yourself, about your family, a
Yeah.
lot of information. So you
Yeah.
fill those in. So now the process of you doing that, you are telling the US government or you are telling the visa officers about yourself. So even your DS-160 is equally important, is as important as you going for your US interview.
Interview.
And, and a little advice that I'm going to give here too is make sure you know what you are feeling on your DS-160. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong, especially people who use agents, who use the services of agents. Like, you try as much as possible to fill in your DS-160 by
By
yourself
yourself.
and
Okay.
be sure you know what you are feeling, because sometimes they tend to ask you questions based on what you feel. And if you should make a mistake or
If
if
it
what
doesn't
you feel
correspond,
does not correspond to what you are saying, that is
problem.
so that is the biggest red flag for them.
Yeah.
So, but if you know your story, you know what you want to
Yeah.
tell them, then you can fill your DS-160. In short, what a lot of people do most times, and what me I did during my own time was, I think it was like 3 days to my date of interview that I submitted my DS-160 online. So like I I made sure my preparation for the interview tallies with what I filled
What
on
you
my
written?
DS-160. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like, and so when they asked me questions, everything I was saying was in line with what I had on my DS-160, because
Okay.
basically they will have your profile before them. You see them typing on their computer. They are actually not, what they are doing is they are running background check on you.
On
As
you.
they
Yeah.
ask you questions as you are talking, they are running background checks, they are checking your DS-160, checking what you are saying. And like all of these things are very important. So
Yeah.
go with your documents, make sure you know your story. By saying story, I mean what you want to talk,
But
what
yeah.
you sell about yourself, or what you want to tell them about yourself. So, and the God factor too is very important, because
Yeah.
you
So
really don't know the person that is going to attend to you on that
whether
day.
they're in a
Yeah,
bad mood that day.
yeah, whether bad mood. So it's always, I mean, it's always a tough one. If you go to
Yeah.
US, if you go for US interview and you scale through, I mean, people will really celebrate, because
Yeah.
I was shocked when it was announced on a particular group and people were sending congratulatory message. I was like, wow, so this thing is this important. So now maybe I can just talk about my own um, interview. So when I got to the hall, like there were so many people there. I think we were about 1,000 plus that I saw that day. I was like,
Wow.
you see the number of Chinese that are trying to leave China and come to the US is so much. It's so much, honestly. We
Wow.
started interview around 8 a.m. and like batches comes 30 after every 30 minutes.
Wow.
So 8:30 a.m. batch, and you see another batch coming in, it's 8:30 and like that. So when it goes to my own turn, I entered the hall. Like the hall has a capacity of about 300 persons at the time, and the hall was full, like it was filled to the brim.
Yeah.
So, but when I entered, you had to queue, you had to be, you have to queue. Then when I got to the VO, that's the visa officer, the very first thing I did or that I prepared for is
Yeah.
to make sure I'm not having an interview. There's a difference between you having a conversation with somebody
Someone,
and
yeah.
you interviewed by
Trying,
somebody.
yeah.
So like, so when I got to the view, I was the first person to like. I just asked her, "How are you doing today, man?" So and she responded. So with that, I've been able to initiate a conversation. So we got talking. Then she now asked me, "Okay, can I have your documents?" With a smiling face, I gave her my documents, and she checks. It was
Yeah.
like what were you doing in China before? I said I was studying. That I completed my master's program in 20. And she was like, so what have you been doing after? So like this is where my own issue started from. I had already
Because the
completed.
documents you submitted were those of your masters.
Yeah, I submitted documents of my, I mean, the documents that I got for my master's.
Yeah.
And she was like, you had a master's already. Why are you going for another master's? So
Yeah.
that already was a red flag for me.
Yeah.
But because I had already anticipated this particular question, and I know myself, I know what I was going to present. So I already anticipated these particular questions and already prepared myself for it. So when she asked me, why are you going for a second master's, I had to talk about what I have done in the past, talk about what I'm doing presently, and talk about the importance of this thing to what I had done in the past. So I was able to link my past, my present, and my future together. Yeah. So like I had to link all of it together. Then I had to then link it up with my country back home, Nigeria. That is very important too. You have to then even if
connect the dots.
You have to connect the dots. And even if you are not interested in going back to your country,
because you shouldn't let them know
that you're not going back. Let them know that your country, Nigeria, is the best place to be.
Exactly.
So let them know your country, Nigeria, is the best place to be, and you can't wait to go back to Nigeria. You just want to get knowledge and go use the knowledge in Nigeria. They're always very happy when they hear that you want to acquire the knowledge in the US, go back to your country and
practice it.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, after giving her reasons like why I need to go to the US, so she was like, although everything you said makes sense, but we still need more documents. So after giving her reasons why I needed to be in the US, she was like,
so she asked you for more documents.
Yeah, so she listed the number of documents for me to send to them. Then I told her like I have these documents with me. She was like, no, like we needed just send it to us via email. So yeah, I had to go back and then send the documents to them. So and that was how I got my.
So how long after the interview did you get the notification that you had been given the visa?
It was almost 2 months. No, it was about 10 weeks. So that's 2 months. Yeah, it took
time.
Yeah. I guess because they had a lot of people to attend to. Now, apart from the fact that they rejected a lot of people, they also placed a lot of people on
probation, like comeback
processing. Yeah, so like, and they have to attend to people one after the other, so before they got to my own turn. But it took about, if I'm not mistaken. And I even missed my resumption time in the US, and so I had to do
because of
January.
You deferred your program.
Yeah.
Okay. You got your visa, then you started preparing. Like after the 10 weeks that you got your visa, how long was it from that time to when you eventually moved?
Okay. Yeah, so now after getting my visa, there's a policy in the US, like you can't just come into the US. There's a particular time that you must arrive in the US, so you have a particular time frame, and I think it's usually a month before your resumption date. That's the school you are going to, like a month before that resumption date, you can enter the US. So because of this, and I was unable to meet up with my resumption, the last resumption date, August. Yeah, my resumption date then was August 27 or so, and they placed me on administrative processing on July 12th or thereabouts. So I missed the resumption date. I had to defer till January. So now they gave me a new I-20 with a new starting date of January 13th. So because of this, I could not even travel to the US. I had to wait till December. So Yeah, so I had a waiting period of about 4 months before
Months before you
coming to
get
the
to
US.
travel. Okay.
Mhm.
So now I just want to know, how has it been so far? How has life been in the US so far?
Okay. Now to talk about the education here in the US.
Mm,
Uh, but it's more challenging in the US if you are coming for studies. It's more challenging because quite a lot is expected of you
you.
here in the and uh, it's like it's a
It
tough
didn't,
thing.
it didn't easy.
Yeah, yeah, it's not easy. If you are coming for masters, it's
Mm,
tough. Now imagine if masters is tough, then what do you think of those that are doing
PhD.
PhD? So
Yeah.
just be prepared. If you know you want to come for studies, you are coming for studies and be prepared. And if you're a self-funded student, that means you are carrying two heavy weights on your neck.
Yeah.
So, but it's something a lot of people are doing here, and they are surviving. So you can also survive.
Okay, so
So now,
talking about carrying two heavy weights, you mean studying and doing like working, right? To support
yeah,
yourself.
studying. Yeah, exactly. Studying and working to support yourself. You
So
know,
as a student in the US, you can actually work.
students in the US can work.
Can work,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the thing is, there are some specific jobs in the US that
Okay.
students are allowed to do,
To do.
especially if it's in your school. So
Okay.
if you are coming on F1 visa, which is a study visa, you
Mm.
are allowed to work within your school premise. So, like for instance, I mean, my T-shirt now
Mm.
is where I'm working in this school. So I work with
Ah,
the alumni foundation. So we help generate funds for the school. So like you are allowed to work, and automatically they will integrate you into the system. Like you have to get once you start working and they've given you your employment letter, you can
mm.
apply for um, there's this forgotten this thing. What's it called now? There's a particular number, SSN. Yeah, you can apply for
Okay.
social security number. That
Number.
number is very important. It's your identity here in the US. So
Mm.
it's until you're employed within your school that you can
That you
get
can
that.
apply for it. Okay.
Yeah, you can apply for that. So, and this is one of the beauty of US. Like the US is a land that accommodates everyone. It's
Yeah.
an inclusive system. It's not like China. It's
Mm.
not like China. US is an inclusive system. Once you are here and you are doing the right thing, they will accommodate. I mean, they will accept you in,
Mm.
and there's no limit to where you can get to.
Mm.
So that was that. I've been working, but the only thing is everything here in the US is dollar. So everything is expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
Everything is quite expensive. It's on the high side, like your monthly rent, you have to pay for your utilities, you have to
Mm.
pay for education, a lot. Even for you to park your car,
Yeah.
your parking lot,
Okay.
you have to pay for it.
Wow.
So everything you can think
It's
of, you have to
money.
pay for it. So so with all of these bills on your neck, you have no choice than to find a way of
Work
us,
hard, yeah.
yeah, of working. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so I understand, especially coming from China, where it's like things were not like things that I feel like in China, like living standard is not very high.
It's
Like
not.
with a medium monthly stipend, you can even like be very comfortable. So I can understand the culture shock that will come
Yeah,
financial aspects.
yeah, it's actually took me a while to
Oh, to
settle
adjust.
in. Yeah, yeah, to adjust because now, for instance, my monthly house rent here
Mm.
is much more than my monthly stipends in China. Like
Wow.
my rent here in a month
Mm.
is about, like, if I add the monthly rent with
Utilities.
the utilities, is about
Mm.
$500. Now, if you convert $500 to UN, you see like
Mm.
it's
It's a lot of
And
money.
my stipends then in NJOS was like 2,500. 500 times 7 is 3,500. That's just for monthly rent
Rent.
alone. So
Not anyone.
you're here to add food, you're here to add clothing, you're here to add some other things that,
Flexing.
especially if you have a car and you have to be running your car
Yeah.
every day, the US is quite expensive. Really.
But the good thing is that you also earn in dollars, so
Yeah, you earn in dollars and there are lots of opportunities. If you are not the
yeah.
lazy type, if you are not the lazy type, you also make money.
Nice.
I
Nice.
can I can tell you that for free.
Nice. Love it. Okay. So now I just want to put you in your feelings a bit. Okay. Do you miss China? If yes, why?
Of course, this China.
Uh,
Like I was before leaving China, I was an advocate for always saying
stay
most of
back
the
in
people that
China.
live in China
Mm,
will miss China. I really don't know. Maybe because I foresee some of these things. Like I
mm,
already foresee the fact that I'll be paying bills. Like I'll be paying much more
than you were.
than
Right.
when I was in China. And also, okay, basically because of the cheap, I would just say because of the cheap life in China, like that's one of
Okay.
the.
The
But
things you
now coming
miss.
to the US, like
Mm,
you see life in another angle. So
yeah.
I definitely miss China. No, like
Mm.
I definitely miss China. I okay. What else would I say I miss about China? Just a cheap life. Yeah,
Cheap and comfortable life.
cheap and comfortable life.
Mm,
There is no violence. There is see
yeah.
that violence is another thing. No? I've been in the US for 5 months plus, and
Okay.
I've already seen some like I've seen two occurrence
Wow.
of gun violence, like people that got shot.
Wow.
So
Wait,
the first
you experienced it or you heard about it in the news?
okay, what happened was like there was a particular night like that. One of our friends' wife was sick, so we had to rush her to the hospital. So
Mm.
while at the hospital waiting for her to be admitted, they some students rushed in. They were having a party and one of them got shot in the party. So they had to rush the
Wow. To the
hospital, like
hospital.
yeah,
Wow.
to the same hospital.
Scary.
So that shock of it was
Yeah.
my
Seeing first, yeah.
yeah. So
Wow. Okay. I mean, if there's one thing we know about the US is that, and now having to, experience it in person
experience first time, yeah.
drives it home.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, that's definitely something to miss about China. I mean, China, I don't know if I've ever
Yeah,
heard,
that's really, hmm.
yeah, experience.
You don't you it's very rare for you to
Yeah,
see
very
I
rare.
but I believe it's happening too though.
So, but
One thing
mostly you
I've
see
come
them on WeChat and things like that. Those
yeah,
WeChat clips.
yeah, sure, definitely. One thing I've come to realize is all countries have their own bad side
Issues,
and
yeah.
have their own good side. So you
Mm,
just have to weigh the good side and the bad side of all
of
of this
place.
country
Yeah,
and choose where you want to go to. I
true.
mean, there's negative memories too that I have about China too. Like, I want to
Mm,
talk about
mm,
the incessant lockdown and all of those
mm,
things. They kind of affects one psychologically.
yeah.
But so, like, all the countries have their
Everybody
own.
has these issues.
That's
Okay, okay, cool. So now my final question, okay? I just want you to give like some advice. I know you've basically been giving advice since the beginning of this video. Just a general advice, to people who are longing to, relocate from China to the US. I mean, there are lots of people on this table. People have even reached out to me personally if I know, things like that. So I just general advice and also like in your own process of relocating, if there is something you did that you feel like you might have done differently in hindsight, or if there's something you feel like, oh, I shouldn't have done it this way, I should have done it this way. Just any little mistake that people might avoid while trying to relocate to the US.
All right. So, okay, the very first thing I would love to say here is we humans are all wired differently. Like my own area of interest might be different from the area of interest of the people that will be watching this particular video. So the very first thing I'll advise anybody to do is sit down, take a deep breath, and decide on where you want to go to. There's actually no limit to anybody's potential. I mean, if I could be in the US today, 10 years ago, I never believed I could be in the US, but here I am today. All glory be to God Almighty. So I believe there is no limit to where anybody can get to. So just think within yourself, where do you want to go to? All of these countries have their good side, they have their bad side. Be more focused on the good side, because what you believe in is what you get. And so if you've decided on the country you want to go, definitely I'll tell you a lot of good things, a lot of good stuff about the US. One of the very good things you should always think about US is the fact that US is a land of opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, you can take that to bank. US is a land of opportunity. Irrespective of anything you are studying, you can come here and make it big. You can switch from any department to the department of your dream, and you still come out in flying colors. So, and also the fact that US, you get integrated into the system in no time. Like, I mean, I got here in December, and by January I had appointment. I mean, I had an interview for this particular position I'm working for, and I got the job, and I'm working in. So now on my CV, I can put it on my CV now that I worked with the office of that's annual giving in WIU. So, and it's a big. Even my supervisor here is willing to give me like a letter to back up the fact that I worked with them. So, like, this is something I was unable to experience when I was in China. So it's a big one for me, and I really appreciate this. The other thing I'll talk about that I failed to do when I was in China was my LinkedIn page. See, your LinkedIn page is very, very important. Like, try as much as possible to have a very good LinkedIn page. You never can tell the people that will go to your LinkedIn page and search for your name. And a lot of people get opportunities from LinkedIn page. I have a friend here in the US that got a position. It's not because this particular guy is spectacular, but it's just because he got the information at the right time, and he got it from his LinkedIn page. So, your LinkedIn page is very important. So try as much as possible to update your LinkedIn page. One thing you can do is look out for people that some of your colleagues that that these people are smart. Their academic performance is outstanding. You see, everything the way they structured their LinkedIn page, go and copy it
and do your own.
Because sometimes. Okay, now I don't know if it's okay to say this. There's a particular country in the world that is not like they are so innovative. There's a particular country in the world that is not so innovative. There's another country in the world that is very much innovative. So now this particular country that is not so innovative decided to be copying what this country that is innovative is doing. And it got to a point that this country that is not innovative is like almost
faster. The
one that is
one.
So sometimes you just have to be smart with the game you are playing. So that's another thing. So, and also think about the future. China, as of now, is not giving PR to anybody. So you have to consider
that
your future too. Except if what you are doing in China outweighs the future, or what you are getting currently outweighs the future, then decide to stay in China. But we all have a different view of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so majorly you're just saying, no, man, know thyself, know who you are, know what you want. Yeah, and
exactly. Know what's for you.
Following that, yeah. Not just what you say, okay, this person is going to America, oh, let me go. This person is going to China, let me go. Yeah, I get that. Okay, I think that's all. I think I exhausted all the questions, and this video has been very lengthy, but also very, very informative. And we cannot thank you enough, Mr. Peterson. Thank you so much for gracing our screens and for dropping these wonderful gems of knowledge. I'm sure that a lot of people who will come across this video will find it helpful, and it's all thanks to you. So
it's a pleasure.
We wish you all the best of luck doing your master's program in Illinois. And if somehow we meet over there, we're going to say hi.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to meeting a lot of people here. Right. I mean, people from China, I know. Yeah. It's a family. We have a family here, so everybody's.
Cool. Thank you so much, and thank you guys for watching as well. If you got to this part of this video, then you obviously have found it helpful. So please give it a thumbs up and share, to people who might also find this video helpful as well. You might be helping somebody, you might be saving somebody's future. You never can tell. So share this video and also subscribe to the channel to stay tuned and to catch up on all the other guests that we are going to be having on this show. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.